Hello, good morning everyone. Glad you could join me for another video. I'm sorry that I missed out on my video last night. Usually on Friday nights, my dear Melissa will go over to her brother's house and play a bit of Dungeons and Dragons. And as I'm not much of a gamer, I usually stay behind and make a video. Usually a one tutorial. But last night the gaming session was cancelled and I got to spend some good time with Melissa. So I'm very pleased about that, but I know that also means that I missed out on making a video for everyone to see. So I'm sorry about that, but I still did a bit of crafting, by the way. I found an old incense burner, one of those long flat ones for the stick incense. And it had a few holes burnt in it because I used to burn cone incense on it as well, which you're not supposed to do on something wooden because it had two holes straight through it. Anyway, I took this incense burner and I glued a small rubber rat on one of the ends of it. And then I painted the whole thing a blackish green. I literally took a squirt of black and a squirt of green and put them side by side and just stuck the brush in. Whatever. So it's a bit, wandery. How do I say it any better than that? How some places it's a little more green, and some places it's a little more black, but the overall scheme goes well with it, even with the two holes in it. Anyway, it turned out looking very witchy, and that's what I was going for. And then I made myself a poppet. Not very many people know what a poppet is, other than those who are pagan or have a bit of knowledge in the pagan world, or the witch world. A poppet, basically, it's a voodoo doll, which doesn't necessarily have to be for black magic. It's generally associated with that. If you take the poppet and you do a ritual over it of some kind and you get a sample of someone's DNA and tuck it in the doll and wash it in salt water. Or sometimes you can even get like a photograph of a person and fold it up a certain way and put it in the doll. Again, give it the saltwater bath. The poppet is connected to that person's energy, so that you start sticking needles in this doll, that person's going to have the same pain, the same effect as if somebody was sticking ginormous needles in them, wherever. Or say you give this poppet a back massage. It's the same as that person getting a full back massage. I know, I'm being silly. But you get the point. You can actually affect that person the same way of whatever you're doing to this doll. Say you tie a weight around the doll and throw it in some water. That person will drown. And of course, the harming another person is going to be black magic unless it's in self-defense or defense of somebody that person is harming. As I will admit, if it ever came down to it, I do not believe I would have any problem with cursing someone, making it impossible for them to harm myself or someone that I know of who is being harmed by them. Anyway, then what else did I do? Oh yes, I took a bottle. One of those carbonated water bottles. They're clear. They look like soda bottles, but they're only about this tall instead of the 2 liters. I took that, I cut the top off of it, the screw cap top, and I cut the bottom off. And then I put some packaging tape over the top of it, and I glued a sheet of artist's heavyweight paper onto the bottom. So I've got this glass dome, and I filled it with... I took 2 sticks, I connected them at the bottom so they came off like a V shape. I took some of that Halloween grade spider webbing and draped it over it so that it was, like a spider web would be, and glued a small plastic spider on that and had that inside the bottle so that it looks like a small spider. What's the word? Not aquarium. I don't remember the word. I'll think of it later, but I'll probably think of it after the video when it's too late to do anything about it. It's a spider display type thing. What I want to do, because the paper's white, and I didn't think about this until after I had finished gluing it. Perhaps wood stain, because I'm hoping wood stain would absorb through the paper and you'd see it on the inside, because that's the part you're going to see. And went to another witch type thing. I got some small black candles and stuck them in old medicine bottles. Medicine bottles, the kind that are like brown glass. That looked quite awesome. I took pictures and I want to post them on Facebook. Perhaps make a video. Yesterday we hung up all of our wands, mine and Melissa's, on the wall. All straight up, but some in the corner that I sometimes do my videos in, and some on the walls outside by the fireplace. It's just awesome effect because these things, as I've said in a former video of mine, I wanted to figure out a way to display them that didn't look trashy, as in it didn't look like they were just set down here and forgotten. They're displayed on the wall, and I absolutely love that. I'm even thinking someday what I would like to do is display them in like a circle, so that all of the points of the blades of the wands are inwards and the handles are on the outside. So I have this basically like a medallion of wands, and I'd really like to do that someday. I would very much like to do that someday. I have all sorts of ideas for Halloween. As you know, any witch or any pagan, that's going to be the ultimate day of the year. To the ancient Celts, it was New Year's, so to speak. It was the celebration of the death of the year. And the next day was the beginning of the year. And at the same time, I wish that Halloween or Samhain was a multi-day festival, the same as Yule is. Yule is basically... It corresponds to the Christian Christmas, though Yule is where we get the decorations and the celebration aspect, whereas the original Christmas was a day when the early church would bake flatbread and fish, and that was their feast. And there were no decorations, and there was basically no celebration. And then more modern culture started incorporating in the local pagan traditions. The decoration of a tree actually originated with the old Germanic people as the Tannenbaum. And it's, in the pagan world, bringing a live tree, especially an evergreen, into your home, covering it in candles and whatever else you could happen to find, whatever else you'd make, was a symbol of bringing nature, basically the goddess of the earth, into your home. And the more you had around you of nature, such as what they call garlands, that comes from twining twigs and vines and all sorts of things around anything in your house that you could. that the more you brought around you, the higher the energy level. As everything in nature has its own energy, the more energy you had, the stronger the atmosphere, the stronger the revelry. Singing was a definite pagan tradition. I forgot how I got onto this. See, I have a slow train of thought, sorry. I was talking about Halloween, yes. How much I love Halloween. I've got, if I can buy those near life-size skeletons from Walmart, they're like $5 or something, and get branches or something, and stick them in the ground like they've been impaled. Yes. I have to make a sign for our front door that says the witch is in. Broomstick parking only. I have to make a broomstick. This is something I have to do, and I have to figure out what I'm going to use. Because honestly, I don't know any way I could possibly get any straw. I don't know any place that sells it or anything comparable. Do I just like buy twine and starch it? Then it couldn't ever get wet. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. Whether I have to use the twine and the starch idea or figure something else out. I've looked on Pinterest and they don't really have how to make it. They just have pictures of broomsticks, diagrams for the different broomsticks used in the Harry Potter series. I don't know how to make it though, other than getting straw. I've been shown how to... Well, I've seen how to do it with taking a pole, a very heavy pole, and cutting into it from, say, this far up from the end down to about this much in long cuts, and then folding them back in time. That would look perfectly, but the only problem is with wood and its grain and the way I carve things, I will have the tendency to accidentally cut the whole piece off rather than stop at a certain point. I'm not as experienced a woodworker as I'd like to be. But I also want to make a Dementor to hang around the house, at least for Halloween, if not year-round. I'd love to do it year-round. If I get some lacy black material, fabric, and balloons or something. Perhaps I'll even use my skull, hang it by strings or something, and then I'd need a spray bottle, and I'd mix crafting glue and a little water, and spray it, the whole thing, and let it dry, and it should retain the same shape, or at least much of the same shape. Wouldn't be perfect, but there's so many ideas for crafts. I am very much into crafting. There's like not a day that goes by. There's literally not a moment that goes by without me thinking, what can I be doing? I need to have an idea of a craft. I also need to be working on illustrations for my brother's second book. I can't seem to get motivated into that. I'm really trying, William. So, anyway, as always, I would love to hear from my viewers. I really, truly would. If you have any ideas for a craft, or a tutorial, or anything for a video that you know would be in the scheme of the sort of shit that I do, I would be more than overjoyed to hear from you. There's always that comment section down below, right down there. Thank you for watching another video of mine. Please like and subscribe if you're not already one of my subscribers, and as always, hail and farewell.